Thanks for swinging in for a little THG. Today's video is on that huge weather system that came in from the west coast, and it is now hitting us. So join me while we watch the storm as it rages all night long, and then what it's like the next day here on our farm. Oh my gosh. Yo. Come on. Blow back. What you doing, Blow? So I'm going to do the best I can, but when I say there is snow out there, you guys, there is snow out there. I do have a good pair of snow boots, so that's going to be helpful. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do about everything else. My son gave me a pair of his old work overalls, so that's going to be good because they are that insulated kind, so that's going to be really helpful. Until they get wet, that is. Ouch. They are a bit huge though, but that's okay. Better big than too small, right? Okay, even though I thought we were ready for winter, last winter was not indicative of the winters that we have around here. And I just discovered what everybody's talking about. We had nothing ready. Okay, I'm gonna get my boots on and okay, so I'm gonna look for places to be able to set up my phone. I hope I can find some spots so that I can show you guys exactly what our situation is outside. I live in a little mountain town. It's literally in the foothills of the mountains. It's pretty much up to my knees. And I'm going to be battling all of this all morning. I have got a lot of shoveling to do, and I'm not even sure where to get started. You guys, we have a good foot or more of snow. Oh, my little sheep, it's up to their stomachs. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, I'm coming. Come on, Maggie. When we have snowstorms in the winter and they hit with 2 or 3 or 4 inches of snow at a time, you still have time to establish pathways before the next storm hits and drops that much. Having a storm drop this much in just a few hours has definitely been exciting and got my blood pumping. One thing I've definitely learned about living out here and doing the farm in the winter, I need to have snow clothes and boots that don't weigh so much, but yet keep me warm. Here's my knees right here. Tractor. All my hay was covered in snow, and I thought this was a great place to keep it. We should have had a big cover coming down. I've lost the one shovel that I can lift. Wow, okay. Well, I need to get my chickens out. So first things first, I suppose. One thing at a time. I'm going to take the chicken feed and my shovel. The further into the property that I got, the worse it became. It was so deep and everything was frozen shut. Holy cow. There was 18 inches or 2-foot drifts just for me to get into the chicken coop area. Let's clear up the fence. My poor sheep. They have nowhere to stand that isn't covered in snow. Once I got over the shock of it, or most of the shock of it, I decided I might as well stop complaining and just get down to business. So the key to shoveling snow is doing it before it freezes in and settles in, or before it gets stomped on and compacted. So I'm going to try and shovel out the chicken area now. I know the video makes it appear as if it went fairly smoothly and quick, but I can assure you it did not go quick. I was outside for a good 3.5 hours or more just shoveling out just the basics so that I could get to the chickens and the ducks and feed and water them and throw hay over the fence for my sheep. So for those of you that have been watching my channel very long, you know that I recently sold my truck for a couple of reasons, and I have missed it and really kind of regretted it ever since. Although I am grateful for the vehicle that we have, and it has done me well, and I'm able to accomplish most of what I need to with that vehicle and my little trailer. I have discovered there is something that I not only want but need much more than a truck at this point on our homestead, and that is a 4-wheeler with a snowplow blade. This is impossible, and I still have to figure out how I am going to get my pasture plowed so that my sheep have a place to walk and so that I can get to the barn. This is some crazy snow, and I do love snow. I do love winter. I love every single season. But things like this really make it difficult. And I know the people that live here, they've all warned us about the winters that we get up here. And last year just wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm getting a taste for what they were talking about now. Oh, you guys, this is going to be a heck of a job. I'm going to have to figure something out. I don't know what it's going to be, But this is truly insane. Okay. As I listen back to this video and I'm editing it, I have to kind of giggle because I'm just huffing and puffing all the time. It sounds like I'm ready to just die. But you guys, I had been shoveling at this point for well over an hour. And I was quickly getting exhausted. So I also discovered or made some realizations as I was shoveling how much more difficult it becomes when you have obstacles like this block right here that I'm lifting. I have to use that to set the little bridge thing on for the chickens to come down, or it's too steep. So there's things like that that I'm beginning to understand make shoveling more difficult, and just make the whole operation of the farm run with hitches and glitches in the normal system, the normal routine. So those are things I'll fix next spring, next summer. I think I'll try and figure out some ways this winter to come up with solutions for that. I also discovered all of the locks on everything were frozen shut. That made things more difficult, and so I had to go find things to pry everything open with. So I have a question for all of you that are experienced in this. The snow that's sitting on top of these roofs right now, you can see that it's just basic wood underneath that's painted. But on the other side where it's covered with snow, I'm wondering, does this create an igloo effect? Since the snow is not melting, I don't think it will harm the wood to sit there. But once it begins to melt, I'll for sure have to get it off of the roof and off of the latches there. But does it create an igloo effect? Does it help keep the coop warmer if I leave this up there? The roof here is reinforced very well and has that plastic covering on it. So I'm not worried about the weight of the snow on that area. But, you know, if it'll create an igloo effect and help keep them warmer, maybe I don't want to scrape it all off. I just don't know. I've had to feed my sheep over here. I know it's not good to feed them on the ground. However, I can't even get to the barn right now. It's impossible. Come on. So as I was spending my morning and a better part of the day, it was almost magical out there. The way the sun was rising and creating all these little sparkling bits and moisture and droplets in the air were sparkling, and it was very festive and very soothing, really. Despite all the snow, it really was beautiful. Now that I was done with the chickens and they were able to come out of their coop and have a little bit of area in that run and in that little cow house, it was time to take on the duck run and the duck area. Because we have so many ducks, we've moved them over here into this old white shed. And they seem to be a lot happier there for sleeping. And in this case, it was really an extra blessing so that they could go ahead and eat and do their thing inside of the coop all day. Cheesecake. Hi, buddy. Oh, my poor little guy. What's happening? Huh? What's happening, buddy? Oh, man. It's like we were playing musical chairs or something with all the animals. But they're finding their place where they want to be. And I am so grateful that we have these options available, not only for them, but for us as well. Okay, ducks. I'm coming, guys. It is such a great blessing to me that that I have the health and the strength and the ability, the stamina, whatever it is that I need to be able to go out and work hard and shovel snow. And I think of those that have come before us decades ago and how hard they had to have worked every single day all winter long like this. They didn't have any luxuries like snow plows and whatever. But I do have to admit that it was a bit discouraging after a while. It seemed like the more I shoveled, the more wasn't shoveled. And it just was, the snow was relentless. And it was really difficult finding a way to get the ducks out, get all the animals fed. And you'll see here in a few minutes that the ducks actually do come out. I had to gather them all back up and put them back in because they kept falling into the depth of the snow. They couldn't walk on it. They couldn't get out of it. So I cleared a path enough for them to get out for a few minutes while I was clearing more paths. But then I scooted them right back in because it was actually dangerous for them. It could have frozen their feet and whatnot. So I'm really grateful that the ducks have this much larger shed that they could come into now, because they spent the day in there, the entire day yesterday in that shed. And my guess is they will spend a good part of the winter between this white shed and then under their duck run, their original duck run. Go back. Go. Go. It's okay, babies. I'm trying. It's okay, babies. It's alright. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Discouraging or not, I do love the snow, as I said in a different part of this video, and I do love all the seasons for what they are. The numerous lessons that I've learned throughout this experience are invaluable, and I'm so grateful that I could learn those lessons so that I am going to have a better idea of what we need to implement and the things we need to add on to the farm or to change on the farm to make things a little bit user-friendly, or a little bit more user-friendly anyway, and to solve some of these issues so that we don't have them.
Zola, no. Zola, no. Come on. Come on, Jack. Zola, no. No. Come on. Come on, go. Zola. Come on. Out. There you go. Out you go. Okay, come on. Come on, Dex. Everybody go back. Come on. Everybody go back. Zola, no. Get in there. Get.
It's frozen. There we go. Okay. Although I have spent many years, even the last couple decades, living out in the country, I haven't lived in this much of the country up in the mountain like this. So this has been a whole new experience. But one thing that I do know from living in the country and not having a garage or a carport or any kind of a cover is that even if you're not going anywhere that day, it is super important after storms to make sure you go out, you start your car, you get it all cleaned off, scrape your windows, so that if there's an emergency or for some reason you have to leave right away, you actually will have the ability to do that without having to go through all of what you're seeing now. It probably took me a good 20 minutes to get my car cleaned off and the windows scraped. And then I left it running with the heat full blast for probably, I don't know, another 10 minutes so that the windows were good and defrosted, and any leftover ice had melted off of that. And that way, you know, I was prepared for whatever might happen. I live in a really awesome neighborhood and a really great town. The people are so kind and helpful, and I woke up yesterday morning to my neighbor and his son out shoveling my walkway and scraping my driveway with their tractor. I'm so grateful to them for that. It really helped make what was already a hard day much easier. So I did take the salt and salted everything so that I could make sure it's safe to walk on. There's my little gnome with the wind-blown beard look. Poor guy's frozen.
Hi, babies. What is happening, little cheesecake?
So anyway, there's the documentation of how I spent my day yesterday when the first huge storm hit.
Hey, guys. I'm Maze. Hi, cheesecake. Oh, my goodness. He's a dirty guy. Holy cow, cheesecake.
All the little things I learned during this big snow adventure are going to help me in the future as I put things together on my farm. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.